you still give a damn. You better give a damn. You have a lot of money invested in you. You have a lot of people's lives and their livelihoods invested in you. Imagine, for example, an Aarya played by a 20-some-year-old girl.
Wouldn't work for a second.
Wouldn't work.
Yeah. Is there like one thing in the film industry that you really want to see change?
Only one.
You'll be here all night.
Good evening, ma'am. I'm just calling my mother. And
Sweet. Hi, Aryan. Lilian, where are you from?
Romania.
Romania. See what I was saying, Anupama?
Yeah, amazing.
It's amazing, and it's an honor to be speaking to you.
Sushmita, I have to start, and I'm sure I speak for many of the people who joined. I have to start by telling you that one of my favorite visuals on streaming last year was you as Aarya with the Holi ka rang on her face.
Yeah.
And that cigar, okay?
And the cigar. Yes, the cigar. I must tell you the story behind it,
Please.
right? I had 45 minutes of prep time. No, actually, I had 20 days of holding on to the cutter and the cigars. But then I had 45 minutes of FaceTime with Mr. Ram Madhwani, who was so particular exactly what kind of cut the cigar must get. This is all while we are rolling 360 degrees, okay? And then when you light it, it must not look like a chillam. It must look exactly like a cigar. The way you must hold it, and because I don't smoke cigars, I really had to get it right. And when he said, we got it, I don't know, it felt like I had achieved something, because that's Ram for you. You know, when he gets into details, he is incredible. So all kudos to him, because he's the reason that was there. I'm so glad you liked it.
No, it was great because it was also such a lovely sort of image that said so much about what she has become. But it also is very sexy. And I'm very excited to know how she kicks butt in the next season.
Yeah, I know it is. Actually, interestingly, it was a continuation of season 1.
Yeah.
Where the cigar cutter represented power. It represented right from, Chicago Jr. carrying it to him getting killed and she carrying it then, to her finally using it. It's in every which way, even the gymnastic rings. The first season you saw her hanging upside down. Her world was upside down. This season ended with her rising like an eagle. So everything from the cigar cutter to the gymnastic rings have had symbolic representation in both seasons.
Yeah, yeah. Now, at the beginning of season 2, Aarya says that kabhi kabhi kamzor hum nahi, hamara waqt hota hai, right? And I think genuinely your life is a testament to that, because you've been through very difficult times, but you've never become kamzor. Tell me, how have these experiences shaped you as an actor? Can you tap into that?
I couldn't earlier. Very lovely question, but then trust you to ask them. I couldn't tap into my experiences easily earlier, because I'm also a person who's extremely private. So whatever I experienced would just be with me. And if you asked me to tap into that and to project that on screen, I would just put all my guards up, because that's just me and that experience, I think that this time around, I am a lot more open. And that's why, as an actor, it has allowed me to be more bare with it, bearing it, of course, for the screen, but also experiencing it, reliving it, allowing myself to be a lot more transparent than I've been in the past. And thank God for that, because when I look at me now as an actor, I feel like I truly am allowing life to live through me rather than me trying to project it. I'm literally living it. So it's a very beautiful thing you asked, because this is the first time around in my phase 2 of coming back to filmmaking that I have allowed myself to be that way. But I guess I'm so excited because now that I can do that, there is just a plethora of experiences that I want to be able to live through the screen again. And so I've just begun. It's just
tell me though, is it, when they talk about method acting, when they talk about tapping into your own memory, is it as clinical as when you're about to see a scene, you actually think of something that made you sad, or does it just unconsciously kind of come forward?
So I think as actors, one of the biggest mistakes we make, which I am still learning to unlearn and then learn again, is that when a director tells you, tap into, when you, so for example, Ram and I have conversations, and of course, my Vinod Rawat, who's also my workshop teacher, their only business for the first 21 days of our workshops is to get into your psyche, to get into your experiences, to just talk to you about then what happened. And do you remember an incident like this? And to your utter horror, they will remember this. And at the time of filming, they'll say, you remember you told me about this incident that happened? And you're like, yeah. That feeling that you felt, that's the scene. That feeling, not that episode or the people, everything is changed. But that feeling that you spoke of, that's this scene. How you express it is entirely up to you. Because as you know, this format of shooting 360 degrees means there's no action. So the command is whenever your heart desires. So whenever your heart desires, you begin the scene. And there could be X number of characters in that scene, but they'll come in like live theater. They'll be queued backstage. They will enter the house. They will do their bit. They will leave the house. There can be lots of accidents in the scene, like a glass fell, the curtain rod came off, anything. But we as actors are not allowed to cut. So you have to handle it. Now, how you handle it is entirely up to you. In doing so, the feeling that you entered the scene with takes a shape of its own in real time. You cannot go back and relive a memory.
Right.
But you can remember the feeling and then put it into a new environment. And that's what helps, I think, as an actor, is if you can follow the feeling, not the experience by itself.
That's lovely. Follow the feeling. That's a great, that's a great mantra for anyone who wants to be an actor.
Yeah, it helps, definitely. I would say so.
As I was watching season 2, really thinking when a character becomes so popular, right? And when an actor and a character become so closely identified, and you've talked about this, that when people see Aarya, they also see Sushmita, right? Can it become restricted? Do you feel like you actively need to break the Aarya image and do something perhaps completely different as well?
Break the Aarya image or the Sushmita image?
No, break the Aarya, because there's this image of a very powerful woman who's obviously, there's going to be many seasons. We are all dying to see how she messes up the new...
Don't worry, there's plenty of that. Plenty of that.
The man who dared to threaten her on the phone at the end.
Yes. Yes. And I promise you, it's a very small part of the ongoing problems that are coming in season 3. So that is not a conscious choice right now, but it is difficult because now there is beautiful content coming to you.
Yeah.
But it has a narcos backdrop. We thought this stereotyping was typically in the big screen, on the big screen, but no, it's happening on OTT as well. So it's been a conscious decision not to do that. Now the next 2 things that I have greenlit are completely different. Will it have strength? Yes. Yes, it is stories of modern women, in modern times. So it will have that element, but it will be far and removed from Aarya kind of. Yes, I do have the urge to do different things and to try different things. And honestly, I don't blame them, because if you really get so connected with a character that makes you feel like, this is how I see Sushmita and this is how Aarya is, and it's a perfect match.
Yeah. Yeah.
Will it work if it is not a perfect match? I truly believe that's where the challenge lies, and I'm hoping that in the coming times, you and me will both find out.
The other thing I think about is when you play the same character, and of course, she's evolving, her arc is moving and moving quite drastically, but still it is the same character over many, many months, many seasons. Is there a danger of falling out of love?
Much like life, that's always a possibility. Yeah, but see, the thing about as actors, when we look at a script, we look at the potential of something so long term, as in 5 seasons, 6 seasons, filming for it over an extended period of time every year. There has to be more than just what you're doing. It's the team, the people you work with, the stuff you learn in the process, because then you literally are getting paid to go to school, to learn a different method, to learn different ways. Every season, new lot of actors join the crew. They inspire you. You get to learn something new from them. So I would not say it's impossible to fall out of love, but if you are wise, you will choose a team that will only make you fall deeper in love every season. If you're lucky,
Yeah.
And I have to say, where Aarya is concerned, that is true. Because every time a season ends, we are all homesick. We all want to come back. Every time a character dies in Aarya, they're like, we have to have one reunion in a ghost form if we have to, but we have to come back. You can't just kill us and forget about us. So beginning with Chandrachur, he said, I don't care. I'll record a video from Delhi, but you have to have me in season 2. And we did.
Okay, I'm going to take an audience question here. We have a question from Veena Vig. Veena, do you want to put your unmute and ask a question?
Hi, Veena. What a lovely smile.
Thank you. Ma'am, I firstly cannot express what it means to talk to you. To have my inspiration in front of me is something else. And okay, my question is, ma'am, you're the epitome of beauty and grace. Like, in fact, one day I was talking to my mother and she said that you could put Sushmita Sen in torn and ill-fitted clothes and she'll still look like a
First of all, big shout out to mom. Give her lots of my love and love.
And ma'am, so this is something that people admire about you so much. Does it come in way of like trying to diversify your characters because the producers that see you a certain way or the audience that sees you a certain way?
True that, my darling. It is true. But I truly believe, love, that if you have, at this stage of my career, okay, so I'm not in my 20s, I'm not starting off, I do less work. So what does that allow you? It allows you the privilege of working with extraordinary directors, extraordinary talents, extraordinary cast and crew who can see you differently, who see the potential in casting you a certain way. But you're right, overall, they tend to look at this and say, oh, this is a strong role, let's think of Sushmita for it, And I get it, because it is a tried and tested formula and it works. But that's what it is. That's why I don't churn out so much work, because I can't find people that can see me differently. And I am not at a point in my life where I can project that, network it, for them to see me like that, like Indianize myself, show a so-called vulnerable side to myself for people to be able to see it. That's not my job. My job is to be given a character, and then also given the full force of preparing you for that character and having the faith that you can pull it off. And then, of course, actors must work very hard to achieve that. But yes, I'm looking forward to it, because the way storytelling is progressing, our industry is progressing, there will be people who find that space for me and for everyone else.
Sushmita, do you, like, when you're like you just said, that you're looking for people who can see you in a different way? You just greenlit 2 projects. I'm assuming you can't really talk about those, but
not as much as I'd like to, but yeah.
You can't, right? So what kind of, are you mostly seeing scripts that are versions of Aarya, or are people actually seeing you in different ways?
I think there are 2 places there, to be fair. I'm not a very PR driven person. You'll never see me for airport looks. And then I don't have all of that happening. So the only 2 places they kind of discover aspects really is Aarya. So there is those kind of scripts. And then you'll be surprised, my Instagram.
Of course.
So there is so much of me and different facets of me in my life that they come there and then they go, hey, what if we do this with her? Or try this with her? And that's how, interestingly, other than me being me, they've been able to come up with these 2 other scripts that actually have gone from watching different facets of my life on Instagram. Would you believe it?
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually
and it's very different from one another. Very different.
Nice.
So
nice. So my thesis is, as I watched streaming shows last year, and there was of course you in Aarya, but also Ravina and Aranya, Pooja Bhatt in Bombay Begum,
all amazing.
Lara Datta with hookups and hiccups. Madhuri Dixit now has the Fame Game coming out. My thesis is that streaming is where women are really getting shine. They're getting to do kick-ass roles, great acting. I suspect that Hindi cinema does not know what to do. With all of you amazing actors, would you agree with me, Sushmita?
We could write a book on this one.
Hannah?
You and I, you could write the book, I could ghostwrite it with you. I would bring in the experiences, you would put it in the right words. But yeah, I think that it is, unfortunately, the film industry has always had a black book with guidelines, which, despite coming into the film industry in the 90s, up until now, nothing much has really changed. It just looks much more evolved, and as if we're trying we are, and that's also by default. You cannot cross 10, 20 years, 2 decades and not have any change. But still pretty much the same. And thus that black book or that guideline tells you how to behave, what to show, what to say, who to network with. And then you must be the dhacha of a typical traditional Hindi film heroine. You must know how to dance and how to sing and lip sync, and you must know the right people. I think in doing that, sometimes women don't understand that their truest potential is not waiting for their counterparts to show up on the set or for them to bring their A game and for them to be the best B game they can be, but that the world is evolving into storytelling. So that storytelling is genderless. It could be a child story, a woman, a man, anyone could be the protagonist or another. It could be anyone's story. To be able to be a part of storytelling, you have to get out of that dhacha.
Right.
And that dhacha doesn't suit everyone. It doesn't work for everyone. In fact, it kind of cages you into following these norms, and I have 10 years to do this. And after that, I'll experiment. Now I'll be told by my PR mechanism, my management mechanism, how to do it. And if you don't fall into that, well, doesn't fit the mold. So I think that hasn't really changed. And it just makes everyone ape each other, which is so sad, because by the time you get to a point in your life where you realize you're an authentic being, what is amazing about you is that you're different, and that puja and aarti can be played differently. They don't have to be the same. And you're not competing with your contemporaries. You're adding value to them. That's a huge thing that is missing. But yeah, we could write a book.
I was speaking to Lara, and she said the best thing about being in your 40s is you really don't have to give a damn. Would you agree?
Lara, I love her, man. She's a mufat, she is. But no, the best thing about being in your 40s is you give a damn elegantly, with experience. You still give a damn. You better give a damn. You have a lot of money invested in you. You have a lot of people's lives and their livelihoods invested in you. The last thing you can do is not give a damn. You have to be responsible to do that. But having said that, you know when to draw a line and how to do it gracefully with age.
Yeah, what I think, Sushmita, what she meant was more give a damn.
No, I wasn't saying it like what she meant. I'm saying in terms of the idea that the best thing about being 40, which is actually it's not about what Lara said. It's generally the idea that now you don't have to worry, because 40, you've lived it, you've experienced it, now you don't have to care what people think.
She also said you don't have to care. She said, I've stopped thinking about kitne gaane hain. Those problems, kitna footage hai. She said, I'm just done. It's now time to have a great time, and which is so freeing. I think it's so liberating, and especially because streaming doesn't have the pressure of box office, they can create these amazing spaces for women, and it's a wonderful thing.
Plus the gratification that comes from doing an OTT show, for instance, is that it's been over 6 months that, it was released, and, like, for example, it could be 6 months done. You haven't yet started filming for another season, but your social media, news, people, feedback, it just keeps on coming. Because people have not watched it all at the same time. It did not leave the theaters. It is still on your remote. You can watch it anytime. And so that feedback and that constant, you don't feel like, oh, I haven't worked since then. You feel like, the work is still there and people are still watching and they're still appreciating it. So I think it's very gratifying, extremely. And to know that there are fans in China, and then there are fans in Afghanistan, and there are fans that are watching it and they're writing in their own language to let you know that they watched it and loved it. What a beautiful way to take your work to a global audience.
Yeah, it's thrilling. I think it's thrilling. I see Supriya Pathak in Tambar, and I'm like, my God, like, what opportunities for women, and you completely bypass this notion of but you can't play the heroine anymore, but frankly all of you look so smashing, they cannot cast you.
No, but more than smashing, think about this, okay, and everyone watching, imagine, for example, an Aarya played by a 20-some-year-old girl.
Wouldn't work for a second.
Wouldn't work. It is an experience that comes with that, and that kind of depth and ethos that age brings, experience brings. So I'm so glad that is happening, because imagine you guys as audiences watching a love story in a college day in and day out. I mean, how can you consume that much of the same thing and not tire of the concept? Now, the whole point of this is entertainment. You're not being entertained because you're just watching the same thing in different versions. So it's lovely. I really am very happy that I'm living in a time when this is possible.
Yeah, me too. Me too. As a viewer also, it's like you're spoiled for choice and it's brilliant. Sushmita, I want to go back to something. You've talked in a lot of interviews about how your father never wanted you to be part of the industry. After watching Aarya, he actually called you and he said that he was proud of you. Yeah. Now, last year, your daughter made her acting debut with a short film called Suttabazi. And so life comes a full circle.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, what are your concerns, Sushmita, as she walks on this same path? Of course, it's a very different business, but, as moms, I know we're all just protective. We're always, anxiety is sky high, no matter what. So how do you feel? Is it a mixture of pride and worry? Or what's going on with you?
I completely am with you on that. There is anxiety always, because it's not just the profession, it's also your child moving into her own, finding her own. And my little Renee, who's not little anymore, but for me, she is still a baby, And I mean a baby, not because she's my child, but she really is a baby. I feel like my younger one is a lot more mature, and, it happens that they're completely different. And out of the two, my elder one has decided to be an actor. So this is where her decision is always going to be paramount, because I've always raised both of them saying, look, love, the man you choose to marry or have as a companion, and the profession you choose, where you choose to live, these are all your calls. Mom's home, mom's heart, mom's love is always going to be there. But I will never be responsible for the call that you take. Mm-hmm. Nor will I run behind you to watch your every step, because that will never allow you to make your authentic mistakes. You need to make them. Yeah. And the only thing I can guide you with is so that you don't make blunders. And that too is not in my control. But yes, it makes me very, very proud to see her as an actor already.
You also talked in an interview about how you've done your best despite being in front of the camera, and you said under layers of makeup to stay true to who I am. Yeah. You said I've managed to do that. So I want to know, Sushmita, how did you manage to do this? 25 years.
26.
Is it 26?
Maybe I should stop counting, but yeah, 26 years.
Yeah. How did you manage under the layers of makeup, the flash bulbs, the glamour, the glitz of all of it? How do you stay true to yourself?
I think that if you can live your life with taking all the appreciation, love, acceptance, all of that to your heart, but not live your life based on the need for validation, it's a fine balance. You take what's good. You also take what's bad. You have a very strong sense of awareness and consciousness, and you stay true to that. So then when the need arises that now I'm on a high, this is what it needs to be done. 20 people are telling me this now, and I will look good if I do this. That's where the validation kicks in. The need for it kicks in. I think in these 26 years, including my own family, my very close network of people, they will vouch for the fact that all the decisions that I've taken with layers of makeup on, including the person that I've shared myself as with people and who I am and all of it. It's not been easy, but it's been done with knowing I could receive solid brickbats and I could have the whole world against me by doing something like this. But I, in my heart, in my conscience, know this feels right. I'm going to say it. I'm going to do it. And that, I think, has helped me stay true to myself.
And you never sort of look back in the sense of saying, okay, maybe that wasn't such a smart decision. I mean, obviously there must have been mistakes along the way.
Of course.
Or are you
mistakes like boo-boos? I call them boo-boos. And I made plenty.
So, oh, are you like Edna Mode in The Incredibles? She says, "I don't look back, darling. It distracts me now."
I do look back for reference, but I don't live there.
Absolutely. You know, you've also done so many blockbuster songs, right? From
Yes, and I'm very proud of them.
they're fabulous. I
I'm
mean,
very proud of the fact that at a time when they would say, item number, huh? Main lead actor, actress, item numbers nahi karte hain. You know, reputation kharab ho jayega. And then I'm just like, mujhe le lo, you know. And they're like, I've had 2 managers leave me because they were like, at that point, she's crazy. She's saying yes to doing an item song. And you were trying to cast her in a full-fledged film. But music is music, you know, and it will survive even a bad film.
yeah,
And they will look back at it
yeah.
and they'll say, that song, मैंने ticket खरीदी, मैं theater में आई या आया और मैंने ये theater में देखी, मैं गाना देख के बाहर चला गया. But मैंने गाना देखा. So ये हुआ है मेरे career में. I'm very proud of the fact that that's another thing that I did, which is pure conviction.
So you actually had managers who said that this is career suicide and we're out.
Yeah. ये नहीं करना है. So what happens is, back in the day, you guys were probably not born, lots of you, but if you said no to your manager about something, or you said, "Acha, theek hai, you think it's a bad idea, but I still want to do it," then they'd be like, importance ही नहीं है. हम इतने सालों से industry में हैं, हमें पता है how to do this.
Correct.
So that was, and you know, because you're 22 years old yourself, all the more people start taking, you know, the factor that, you know, she's just not listening. We've been here for so long, and so yeah, I did have 2 managers. I didn't miss them though, I must tell you.
And did they watch those songs and regret their decisions? I'm sure they did.
No, I think I am their longest living regret to this day. But we are friends now. We're friends now. So.
You know, you also, Sushmita, were among the earliest female actors to talk about production.
Yes.
I remember you wanting to produce Rani Lakshmi Bai. That was a role you really wanted to do. Is making film something you're still interested in?
Oh, absolutely. That's another aspect that a very dear friend of mine and someone that, you know, I've been working with for a while, are planning to look at a brand new start with production, because there's so much content, and whether I'm in it or not, there's a lot of stuff out there that we'd like to produce, that we'd like to put our name to. So God willing, that should happen this year too. So
nice.
Yes.
That's exciting.
That is exciting. And in fact, one of the things that out of the 2 that I've greenlit will hopefully be co-produced by us as well.
Wow. Wow. Congratulations. That's massive. But Sushmita, apart from that, is there like one thing in the film industry that you really want to see change?
Only one.
We'll be here all night.
I'm naughty. Oh boy.
What is it that bothers you the most? Like what really kind of gets you?
Okay, there are too many things, but it correlates to the fact that the pay factor gets me on many levels, because I also believe that when you pay an actor or a star a certain amount, it also stands for directly connected to how big the project is, how much marketing budgets you have. It all connects, right? So when you still look at, and I'm speaking purely for the Indian film industry, I'm not speaking about OTT, because God knows they are putting some serious amounts in there to produce female-led content. But for the film industry, I still believe that they look at the math very differently when they make a film with a female protagonist. And that kind of tells you volumes about the inequalities in the way they perceive a female actor and a male actor. Yeah, I would like to see that changed for sure.
That would be nice. Pay parity.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Lulian, please ask your question.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, hi. Lillian, where are you from?
Romania.
Romania. See what I was saying, Anupama?
Yeah, amazing.
It's amazing, and it's an honor to be speaking to you. Please excuse me, I'm a bit nervous.
That makes the two of us. So let's just
Okay.
take 5 minutes to be nervous and then.
All right, so my question is, you spoke earlier about being able to tap into your own emotions now. And my question is, do you think that sometimes this can be dangerous for your own mental health? And if so, how do you keep the balance?
Beautiful question. Wow. That was so beautifully asked also. Typically, if an actor gets into a zone and starts to stay there for an extended period of time, it is a problem. Because then you get into this character and this emotion so strongly that it needs external help, like workshops, to bring you back out of it. But if you are someone who, it differs from person to person again. So if you are someone who in life also goes through a process without getting stuck to it, like I was saying to Anupama earlier, I look back for reference, I don't live there. So when you're there, you're 100% there. And when you need to come out, in the case of Aarya, this filming, we have workshops to get out of the zone as well. So you can ask for it if you need it. But you're very, very right. It can be extremely daunting on your mind and in your heart if you hold on to that feeling too long. So it can be. Yeah. But with experience, you learn, like everything else in life, experience it, let it go.
So, Sushmita, you can actually ask for a workshop to disengage?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, I had no idea. Wow.
Yeah. To get into the zone, to get out of the zone, to revisit a zone. You have workshops for everything these days. And it's amazing because we have that for Aarya. So it allows, most actors don't need it because most actors come in, do their part and leave.
Right.
And then they go and shoot something else immediately after. Problem becomes an actor like me who's only doing Aarya. So, and you're like the fixed furniture piece. Everyone else is coming, going.
Correct.
You are there only. So I think, yeah, I do need help at times.
Okay, I know I said last question, but there is Aryan Sachdeva who doesn't have a question. So just wants to say hello. Can we do that?
Oh, it's so sweet. Of course, Aryan.
Aryan, please say hello.
Good evening, ma'am. I'm just calling my mother. And
sweet. Hi, Aryan.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi. Namaste. Hi, how are you?
Fine.
She's a very big fan of you.
पहले आपको जाके बुला के लेके आया. That is so sweet. कौन से शहर में हो आप?
श्री गंगानगर.
श्री गंगानगर में. और आपके साथ जो आपके तीसरे फैमिली मेंबर है उनका नाम भी बता दीजिए.
संदीप.
नहीं वो उनकी बात है. वो मैम मो है. Actually we have adopted 2 street dogs, male and female. मो माया है उनका नाम. मतलब एक का नाम मो, एक का नाम माया.
That's very, very sweet, yeah. And the sweetest thing is that हम कहाँ से connect कर रहे हैं. It is so heartwarming. आपने आर्या देखी?
Yes, ma'am. दोनों seasons.
मैं अभी मम्मा से बात कर रही हूँ.
अच्छा.
आपने आर्या देखी?
नहीं.
Actually,
मम्मा अब भी जाके देखो.
Schedule बताना मम्मी.
मेरा schedule बहुत busy है.
क्या करते हैं शेड्यूल बताएं.
मैं सीनियर टीचर
साइंस. अरे वाह.
हाँ जी. तो मैं सुबह मेरी जो डिस्टेंस है बहुत ज्यादा है.
ओके. तो हम ये शेड्यूल में रात में डालते हैं. हम एक एपिसोड हर रात को देखेंगे तो 8 दिन में खत्म हो जाएगा.
लेकिन मैं 7 o'clock बस में बैठती हूँ और वापस शाम को 7 o'clock मैं पहुंचती हूँ.
क्या बात. You're a real life Aarya then.
Exactly, ma'am. Exactly.
Lovely speaking to both of you. All the best.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
It was a lovely experience.
Pleasure's all mine. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sushmita. It is always so lovely. And there's so many people asking, is there a date for season 3?
No, you know, Mr. Ram Madhwani is the right person to answer that.
Oh, kuch to
No
hint
date
de
yet,
do.
yeah, no date anywhere, but it's all happening. This year is going to be an amazing year for everyone. You'll see. I
Right.
think the worst is behind us. It will get better.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, and cannot wait to see you on screen as Aarya and in life as well. Thank you, Sushmita.
So much. Always such a pleasure to speak to you, Anupama.